Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to continue with Enhypen individual readings for the members. Today it's Jake's turn. So I was looking at his birth chart, and there are places that says that he has a moon in Aries, and there's other that says he has a moon in Pisces, just because the day he was born the moon was changing its phase. So I'm just going to take his moon as a Pisces, or actually I'm just going to talk about his Scorpio energy, because he is a Mercury and Venus in Scorpio as well as Scorpio Sun. So I could see a bit of a moon in Pisces in him because of his softness, because I could be like, oh yes, he's passionate, because he could be a moon in Aries, but he is a Scorpio, so it's normal to be passionate when you are a Scorpio sun. So I'm just going to refrain about the moon sign. I'm just going to refer to him as the Scorpio energy. So let's see what archetypes he got. He got the archetype of the rebel, the angel, and the knight. So it's really interesting that it starts with the rebel. It just gives you this very like it's like a sign that there's something about him that he just he's always looking for change. He's always looking for variety. He's always trying to push the limits of himself and others. I think that there's an energy of rebellion in him, especially. I think that probably he's someone that questions a lot. Probably if you give him like some kind of task, or if you tell him that the rules or the procedures are going to be of a certain way, probably he's going to be like, oh yes, but why? But or probably not saying much, because I don't think he's that talkative, but probably his actions would speak louder, in the sense that he would probably do things on purpose to not do what he has to do. But it's all because inside his mind, he is a free spirit. There's some kind of rebellion against what's established, and probably there's also like a curiosity, about why the world is made of so many rules, and what would happen if someone would break one. I think that also he likes to try new things, and probably his mindset is very free, is very independent. It's like his view of the world is very different. It's not traditional at all. So he can have these moments where he questions everything, or where he tries to push the limits of a situation, to see how far he can go. He likes to be a bit controversial, or a bit like provocative. Probably now that he is just starting, that he's a young adult, probably he's just still learning about himself. But there's something about his nature that is like he's really curious, and at the same time he just loves the thrill of experiencing new things. So this could take him to actually want to experience forbidden things, be like, oh yes, no one has done it before, okay, I will do it, something like that. And then we have the angel, the archetype of the angel. So it's very contradictory, but at the same time, it's like a red flag that is telling you, don't believe his angel face, in the sense that actually, when I see his image, I don't see him like an angel, actually. I perceive that he has a very strong charisma, and that he is very... there's something about his his eyes. There's something very profound in him. It's like he's very observant. He is, and he knows how to read people. So definitely he knows when to make when to be spontaneous and when to be playing by the rules. He knows how to shift. This is why we see the angel archetype in here, because actually the fact that he could get himself into trouble for being rebellious doesn't mean that he is a bad person, or doesn't mean that he is not capable of caring for others or caring about hurting others. I think that he definitely has like an awareness about that every action has its consequence, but at the same time it's just that he's very curious. His soul, it's very it's always looking, it's always seeking new knowledge, new experiences. So I think he cannot help himself. And at the same time, with the angel, definitely he has this sense of responsibility, especially for people that he cares about, people that he admires or people that he loves. He definitely will do anything for those people. And also here with the last archetype, that is the knight, obviously he is a gentleman, and he would put himself in danger in order to protect his people and people that he considers valuable for him. And I think he definitely is very protective, and I think he can be protective with actions. Actually, I don't see him like expressing that much with words, but I do see it with actions. You can definitely tell in his body language where when something is not, when he's not comfortable with something, or when something bothers him. He's someone that you can read in his face when he is uncomfortable, or when he feels when he's angry, almost, when there's something about it that he just doesn't like limitations. Like I said, he doesn't like restrictions. He doesn't like people telling him what to do. And actually this reminds me a lot of a moon in Aries. So probably he could be a moon in Aries as well, because there's something about, like being against the rules, and against what is established. He's like, but why? He's like, what? But why? Why would I follow this? Why would I listen to this? Why would I do this? What do I gain from this? So I think that definitely he's soft inside. He's very selfless in that sense. But I think that also he covers this angel archetype. He protects this aspect of himself very much. The fact that he just prefers to look brave instead of caring. Sometimes he can act a bit cold or detached just to distract people or to confuse people, for people to think whatever they want to think of him, and to have any kind of wrong perception about him. He can be that guy, it's like he wouldn't mind to be labeled as a bad guy or as a dangerous guy. He wouldn't mind if you put those kinds of labels on him, because actually he is different. So, and at the same time, he has very strong values. It's just that he makes his own rules. This is what happens. He doesn't like people like oppressing him. He hates oppression. I think he is very, his way of seeing the world is very different from the other members. I believe that he is very different. And at the same time, he could have these moments, because when you think about the archetype of the knight, in order for you to defend others and in order for you to stand up for others, it means that there has to be like an initial, some kind of confrontation, and I see him being a bit confrontational, like being like he knows what he accepts or what he finds acceptable, and he knows what he doesn't like. For example, if you are rude to him, he knows until when he is able to put out with what you have to say. And then if you reach a certain limit, he will let you know by his posture or by his body language, especially by the way he stares at you, you will know that he is angry. And then there's no turning back. I think he has a temper. But I don't see him like getting upset just because, I think he gets upset when he finds a few situations that are unfair. This is because he questions everything. So if you are being disrespectful to someone and you're like, oh no, I'm not being disrespectful, I'm just telling this person the rules or how how this works. And actually, if he finds your tone or the way you express yourself offensive, he's going to go after you. So he could get potentially into arguments or into fights because of this. But yeah, he could be a moon in Aries. He could be. So let's go with the tarot cards that he got. He got the Princess of Wands, the Princess of Cups, the Death card, Princess of Swords, Seven of Swords, Two of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, the World, the Hangman, and the Aeon, that it's like the Judgment card in this deck. So here, seeing this, seeing all these princesses here, I could actually see them as different people, actually, these princesses. Because I believe he's very lucky with ladies. He definitely has his lady friends. But also they could be a representation of his own nature, of his nature of being really passionate and impulsive, and his other side that is more emotional and soft and sensitive. I think definitely that there's something about his emotional world, but even though these are princesses that they represent the pages in other decks, since they're only surrounded by the Death card, that is a major arcana, I think that they're not talking about people in particular. I think they're talking about him, his state of mind, and his own transformation. Obviously, this talks about his emotional nature, so it could apply to his relationships with someone. But here it doesn't. It's not aiming to tell me about that someone. It's aiming to tell me about the situation as a whole. And this situation is coming to an end. And here it means that there's a huge struggle inside of him between his strong and passionate behavior, that he is very impulsive, that he's very passionate, that he is very hot-headed, and at the same time that he is very sensitive, and probably sometimes he gets attached to people too soon, and probably he gets a bit obsessed. So probably there's a kind of relationship he had recently or that he had been in contact with, someone that made him feel really passionate and really out of control, but at the same time made him feel really emotional in the sense that he cannot neither control his actions, neither control his emotions. And I think that this is not very good for him. This is not very good for his well-being. So I think that he is putting an end to this by claiming his own power. Because the Death card, the character is looking at the Princess of Swords. And the Princess of Swords is a character that has a sword on her left and on her right hand, and on her left hand she has someone's head that she just cut off. So this, it talks about being able to cut what no longer serves you or what is not good for you. So I think that either he's letting go of some toxic behavior that he had in the past, or a toxic relationship, or a very unbalanced kind of relationship that made him feel really out of control when it comes to his emotions and his actions. And now he's taking the control of this situation by cutting all ties and by cutting all connection with this person, and probably cutting communication, because you know that source is about communication. So I think that he is taking the control here because he hasn't been able to do so in the past. It's like he was so attached to probably this person or this situation that is what it was hard for him to let go, you know. And I think he's going to still struggle to maintain this silence, you know, and to be like, to almost to ghost this person, you know, to be like, okay, I'm not going to talk to you. You're not going to be able to find me. You're not going to hear from me. I'm not reaching to you again. And it's going to be I think it's going to be definitive, because I see it with the Princess of Swords being really defiant and being really like, it's like he made his mind. But I think that this is because he came to a point where he realized that he wasn't being himself. And also at the same time, I think that there's something about a Scorpio nature, that they can go through periods of feeling very obsessive or feeling very overwhelmed by the profundity of their feelings, but at the same time, when they realized that they had reached a certain bottom, you know, they are like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm cutting you out of my life. Like, I'm not doing this. And they just move on. They are just like the Death card. You know, they just erase you. They just eliminate you. You know, they just do like as if you were dead. You know, you no longer exist for them. But I think that for them to come to this decision, it means that they had been through a lot to get to this conclusion or to this realization. I think that, like I was saying at first, this situation wasn't good for him because it made him feel crazy, you know, like going from feeling really sensitive and feeling really vulnerable to feeling really angry and upset and just not being able to be himself, you know, or actually probably trying to be himself or trying to be honest and not getting a good result, not getting a good answer, you know, because so probably this was a relationship or a kind of connection that was, or either the other part was very manipulative or he was the manipulative one. And then here with the Seven of Swords, the Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, Yes, I see him like, yes, like disappearing, definitely, like not reaching this person again. And he could have this kind of false account or something like that, where he could every now and then just check her social media, and to be like trying to find out what she's up to or looking at her pictures. But he's going to do this in a very sneaky way, very Scorpio, very very detective, but very sneaky at the same time. But he's not going to he has made his mind, but it doesn't mean that he is not still attached. So he definitely will focus more on work. I think that there are a lot of things that they will be preparing when it comes to work. I see him trying to balance a lot of things. And I also, this is why I think that him cutting this connection is actually really good, because he was like being very distracted when it comes to his profession. I think that he was a bit like confused all the time, or he wasn't very present, or he was a bit like he was absent-minded. He was so worried, he was very paranoid, and he was very nervous. So I think that now he will be able to go back a bit to having a control over his mental health, and also that they are going to receive a lot of probably like a new choreography or new project or something where he will have to go and study a lot and prepare himself a lot and review a lot of things and rehearsal. So he's going to be busy. He's going to be really busy. So, and then with the World and the Hangman, I think that definitely he will move on. He will enter a new phase when it comes to also his career. But there's something about it that there are moments where he feels really confused about his career. It's like it's not that he is not happy with the career he has. It's just that sometimes he sometimes feels like a prisoner. And I think I said this also. I think I said it about Jake. Was it about Jake? No, Jay. Was it about Jay that I said something similar? But it's like it's just because he has so much energy inside of himself. He can be a bit impatient. So for him to be waiting for orders, or waiting for someone to tell him what to do and to tell him what to act and how to act and what to say and when to say it, I think he feels, like I said, he feels restricted. And this is something that his rebellious archetype doesn't like that much. So probably in the moments where they are, I'm not saying that they have time, that they are like, they have free time. Actually, they don't have free time. But I think that when they are in this quiet kind of routine, I think he just starts to wonder a lot about the meaning of life and about his purpose in life, and about that what if I made this decision, what if I did this, what if because they have a lot of reunions and conversations where people talk to them, and of course listen to them, listen to their concerns, and at the same time they give them like this pep talk about that they have to be responsible, that they have to take care of their image, that they have to be very congruent about what they say and what they do, that they have to, trying to raise awareness into these guys, but you know what happens when you have someone that is very passionate and that has this inner desire inside of him of actually experiencing things from his own perspective, sometimes they do not listen. This is what happens. I think that probably the youngest members are the ones that take these kinds of conversations or advice. They take them really like, oh, they are like, oh yes, they are convinced. They buy the speech, they are like, oh yes, we should do our best. Yes, we should improve. We should show our best. We cannot mess up. We have to do right. But in the case of Jake, I see him like being like more defiant. Like probably not saying, not expressing it in a very like openly way, to be like, oh yes, like I'm going to do the opposite of what you told me. But I think he loves to play with danger in the sense that he loves to push people's buttons. He's very defiant, like I said. So I don't know. I hope he doesn't get into trouble. But I think that sometimes he's a very extreme person. His nature is very extreme. It's very intense. So he needs intense experiences. And probably for him to learn to be a bit more considerate and to be more like, to be, yes, more aware of how consequences affect others, I think he definitely needs to experience things. He's someone that learns from his faults. He's someone that learns from his mistakes. He learns the hard way. He learns from the traumatic events. He learns from the pain. He learns from abrupt changes, abrupt endings, from struggles, from those situations that actually make you feel desperate inside, because he's like looking for these very intense reactions or these intense kind of experiences where he feels his blood boiling, He needs that adrenaline. This is why he's always like testing his fate, and his so and it's interesting because actually I don't see him talking about it, because I don't see like him, for example, I don't know, that sometimes there are people that are very talkative and they are very communicative, and sometimes they do express themselves in the wrong way and they always get misunderstood. They always end up in misunderstandings and they always end up in trouble because of what they say. Well, in the case of Jake, it's not what he says, it's what he does. It's what he does that actually it's dangerous, or it's something that he needs to regulate. He's someone that he has a lot of potential and he has a lot of drive and a lot of desire. So he needs to put that desire and that drive into good use. Because he's not someone that you can like I said, that you can give him this talk, or trying to coach him, and be like, oh, life is about this and this, because he just doesn't listen. He doesn't listen because his way of absorbing information or absorbing learning or learning about the situation, it's experiencing it in his own body, not talking about it. So if he doesn't pay attention, it's not because he doesn't care. It's just that for him, he needs a more impactful kind of example, So probably he's someone that works really well with his body. So this is it was a really interesting reading to read for Jake. Really, I am amazed. So if you are a fan of Jake, please let me know in the comment section if this made any sense, because this is very different from what I had envisioned that it would go. So if you would like to give me feedback, I would appreciate it. So guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye.